Hello everyone. So today we will be doing a topic known as gaseous from a gaseous exchange in humans, and we will be looking at how your certain organs of your gaseous exchange system they contract or relax when either you are inhaling or exhaling. So we'll start with this diagram. This is what your gaseous exchange or the respiratory system looks like. So basically, this one is a trachea. We have two more names for this, which is either a windpipe or a pharynx. So trachea is also known as either a windpipe or a pharynx. Then trachea is actually made up of rings of cartilage, which make sure that the trachea remains patterned and it does not collapse because of the air pressure. Then this is obviously the right lungs and this is the left lungs. If you look at the right lungs, this is what is known as the bronchus. These are the bronchioles, and above the bronchus at the top of it, it's alveoli. Then if you look at the left lungs, this is the clavicle, which is not part of the gaseous exchange system, but it's there, that's why I'm saying. Okay, so there are two muscles which works antagonistically. What is antagonistically? Basically muscles that works in pair. The outer one is external intercostal muscles and the inner is the internal intercostal muscles. They both work antagonistically, which means that if one of them contracts, the other have to relax, and it's vice versa also. Okay, so these are the ribs. Now let's look how gaseous exchange system works. Okay, so this is all the changes that happen during inhalation. Some inhalation is also known as breathing in or inspiration. So what happened in inhalation is basically inhalation is air has to come inside the breathing system. So how does it happen? This is known as diaphragm, and this is also a muscular sheet. So diaphragm is actually made up of a muscular sheet. So what happened? This diaphragm it contracts and flattens. Now the original shape of diaphragm is the shape that you are looking at. It is known as dome shape because it looks like dome. But this diaphragm is pulled downwards and we say it's flattened, like from here it comes downward like this and it's flattened. So when this it's flattened, we say diaphragm contracts and flattens. So when the diaphragm is contracted or flattened, let me change the color. Okay, so this entire area, which is known as the chest cavity, it increases because if you previously look at this, if you previously look, this is a chest cavity only, but when this diaphragm is contracted and flattened down in this manner, okay, 1 minute, yeah, and it's flattened down in this manner, so now this entire area becomes the chest cavity. So we say the volume or the area of the chest cavity increases. So now basically the relation between volume and pressure, that's inversely proportional. So if pressure increases, so volume would always decrease. Okay, and it's so basically pressure and volume, they're always inversely related to each other. So in this scenario, since the chest cavity area or the volume increases, so pressure inside the chest cavity, it will always decrease because of the same reason that they are inversely proportional to each other. So when this happens, air outside is in higher pressure like the atmospheric air. So air from higher to lower pressure, it crushes inside. That is what inhalation is about, that air comes inside your body. So if you look at this, firstly the diaphragm, it contracts and flattens in this manner. That's why the volume of the chest cavity increases, as you see over here. Okay, it says volume of thorax increases, and when volume increases, so the pressure has to decrease because of the indirectly proportional relation. So the pressure decreases, and that's why air is drawn out. So these are the 4 bits that you need to know. Only 2 additional points that you need to know is this ribcage point and the muscle contraction point. So if you even try inhaling, you would feel your ribcage is moving upwards and outward. So this is one more point you need to know when it comes to inhalation. And this is the only point you can't understand, and you need to remember it, that is the external intercostal muscles, they contract. The muscle on the outer side, if you look at this arrow, they are basically pulling upwards or contracting. So these are the 6 points you need to remember for inhalation. Let us revise this as well. Okay, so inhalation, it's basically, let me put this somewhere else. 1 minute. Okay, inhalation is also known as inhaling in or inspiration. So, as the word suggests, air coming inside. So, how would this happen? This is diaphragm or a sheet of muscle. It has to contract and flattens. So when it contracts and flattens, it comes over here in this manner. So previously only this bit was the chest cavity, but now when the diaphragm is flattened in this manner, so this entire portion becomes a chest cavity, which we say that the volume or the area increases. As written over here, that volume of the thorax increases. Thorax and chest cavity is the same thing. So since volume and pressure have inverse relations, if volume of the chest cavity is increasing, pressure is decreasing. So now the outside pressure is higher as compared to the inner pressure. So from higher pressure to lower pressure, air will rush inside. Now we have already covered these 4 points. Now you're only left with a rib cage point. If you try inhaling, you would feel your rib cage moving upwards and outwards, so you can remember them in this manner. And about the muscle point, the external intercostal muscles that is present on the external side, it always contract during inhalation. So this is all about inhalation. Now if we want to have a look at exhalation, so it's like totally the opposite of what we did at inhalation. Exhalation, so previously we did the diaphragm contracting in inhalation, but in the exhalation it's exactly the opposite, that it is relaxing and becoming dome shape. While the volume, if this, you just look at it logically, if this diaphragm in exhalation, breathing out, exhalation, if the diaphragm is remaining in the dome shape, so now the chest cavity is only this bit, which means that the volume of the chest cavity decreases. So if the volume decreases, the pressure would obviously increase because they have a inverse relation. So the pressure increases, and that's why, again, from the higher to the lower pressure, now air will move outside your body. So in this manner, we covered the 4 points. So the rib cage was moving upwards and outwards in inhalation, so it would be exactly opposite over here. And again, for the external intercostal muscle, it would be exactly opposite.